Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being extra mindful on and being on time. Your attentiveness and your participation is greatly appreciated. We have with us the next speaker, Mr. Mohamad Bawab. It's a genuine pleasure to welcome my very own colleague from the team Manai Microsoft Solutions. Mr. Mohamad Bawab is here, who is an enterprise commercial manager with Manai Microsoft Solutions. He will speak about how Nvidia, highly accelerated computing, can tackle challenges no one else can solve. Over to you, Mr. Bawab. Thank you.
Sure it's recorded.
Thank you everyone for coming. Just before we start, just wanted to show of hands who's currently using artificial intelligence in their businesses. It's interesting to see. So we're going to be speaking about something interesting for everyone. So there is no doubt we're living in a very interesting time where we're seeing the latest innovations when it comes to AI with a GPT and technologies where Microsoft is integrating all these technologies in their Microsoft Office and Bing search engine. And one of the vendors who are enabling such innovations is Nvidia, where it really enabled to tackle the hardest challenges when it comes to whether it's from genome sequencing or it's in healthcare, or we were speaking about weather predictions. So Nvidia was founded in 1993. It's currently having over 22,000 employees, with a revenue of almost $27 billion. Always the power in development is with the community, and Nvidia is having over 3.5 million developers all over the world by having the full community contributing to the innovation in this space. Whenever we mention the name Nvidia, most people will straight relate to the graphic cards, the gaming. And definitely, Nvidia is a leader in this space when it comes to GPUs and gaming. But also when it comes to enterprise in our businesses, we're seeing lots of innovation that are related to artificial intelligence and machine learning. While also Nvidia is about to release their first CPU that is meant for artificial intelligence and machine learning. And of course, with the innovation of the DPU, which is the data center processing unit, which are the next generation cards that are able to provide the fastest speeds of communication, as well as offloading challenging workloads like security and network throughput. So, now, just to go over an overview for the Nvidia data center portfolio, we are having multiple technologies that fit into different use cases. So whether it's from the compute, we have the A100 and A30, which are meant for certain workloads like artificial intelligence or genome sequencing, or when we're speaking about the A2, which is meant for edge computing, such as CCTV and video analytics, or we're speaking about high level of graphics in the data center by the A40, A10, and A16. And finally, we're having the latest generation of A30X and A100X, which are the latest generation of GPU accelerators, along with the DPU, to enable the fastest level of communication and offloading security on the cards themselves. So we have the full line of consumer as well as the data center and compute, whether it comes from the DGX portfolio which enables superpods, as we mentioned, for workloads like genome sequencing or for weather predictions. All the way, these are powered with A100, the highest performance cards, and the next generation H100. And we have the latest visualization engines which are focused on graphics. And of course, all this is powered by the leading networking provider. For the people who come from the high performance computing space, might have heard of Mellanox. And Mellanox is the only provider currently that can support high performance computing for InfiniBand. Almost 60% of the top 500 in the world are using Nvidia networking because it provides the highest speeds which are now in demand these days. And of course we have rather than saying the consumer, it's mainly the enterprise level desktop computing. Now, speaking about the CPU, so Nvidia is entering the CPU space with their 144 high performance core CPU. And it is the highest number of cores. This is based on ARM architecture, and it's focused on artificial intelligence and high performance computing workloads. With this, it's enabling the fastest speed to memory access with over 1 terabyte of throughput and the maximum power efficiency of 500 watts for the CPU as well as the memory. Just to put things in perspective, the CPUs these days are increasing in performance, but with the performance we're having additional power consumption. CPUs by themselves are reaching almost 300 watts. So when we say that a dual CPU is able to achieve 500 watts along with memory, this is a huge achievement. Now, how do we achieve by having a dual CPU that are working in a coherent manner? By using the highest level of connectivity, which is the NVLink, and this is Nvidia's connectivity, which enables 900 gig of throughput between the CPUs. The other iteration of the super chips is the ARM processor coupled with the GPU, which enables access for the GPU for over 600 gig of memory. That is 15 times more efficient than PCIe Express. So with this, you are able So with this, we're able to achieve the highest level of throughput and the largest amount of memory for a GPU, which is meant for the largest workloads of AI and ML. And of course, with the collaboration between Nvidia and Lenovo, all these are available on Lenovo models in different forms. We're announcing here the next generation of enterprise-grade GPUs, which is the Nvidia 840, based on the latest technology on ADA units. We have the RTX 6000 and L40, which are providing double the performance on previous generations. Let's think about some market trends. So I asked in the beginning, who's using AI? And now, if we think about it, each and every industry will use or is using AI. Whether it's from talent acquisition, so we need to know what is the best talent that we need to acquire. We can use AI in order to get these talent. Whether it is in marketing and sales, where we can analyze our customer behavior, and based on this we can provide them the best service. Or is it based on information security? Now, our team are having major challenges in IT as they are not able to take the full workload. By using AI, we are able to isolate the noise and let them focus on the important factors so they can support the business. Operations, when it comes to oil and gas, for example, predictive analysis, so we can avoid unplanned downtimes. Customer care, this is what is taking the whole world by storm. Now we're having ChatGPT being your personal assistant that is able to answer each and every question you have, and it is the smartest personal assistant in the world that have all the books up to 2021, of course, but still. And of course, from product development. So we'll go into this into a bit more details, but before we develop products, now we're able to fully simulate a product before we build it. Some market trends, we're seeing that major customers are seeing the need to go into AI and currently are into the pilot phase, while a big portion of customers is currently going into production with this. So how do you start your AI journey? There are a couple of approaches. It's either you use do-it-yourself approach, where you bring the different open source tools, you try to stitch them together, hoping that it will work, and then when you face an issue, you will have to check the community for the solution. But this is a major issue, especially when it comes to enterprise organizations like us. We need to have the proper support in order to develop on this. And this is where Nvidia AI Enterprise comes into place, where it can provide you a complete certified pre-trained models along with the full support to enable you to start the journey in a proper way. So just an overview of a small portion of the open source products that you might use when you're using AI. You can see each and every one of these is provided by a different community member. It will have different versions, the support on different operating systems. It might or might not work, or whether it will perform and take advantage of your underlying hardware. And this is the biggest issue. So with Nvidia AI Enterprise, it enables you to get an enterprise-grade software where it is supporting the complete end-to-end stack, and everything is pre-tested, making sure it takes the full advantage of the underlying hardware while having easy deployment, and you can kickstart with certified pre-trained models. I will not go into details on the different components, but just as at a high-level overview. So what you will get a big catalog of pre-trained certified models where you're able to start with this model. Two ways that today you can start with Nvidia AI Enterprise. It's either you can get a 90-day trial and you need to have a certified Nvidia hardware, or you can use the Launchpad and it takes some time to provision, and you can use Nvidia's infrastructure in order to test this model. So Nvidia networking. Now we always hear whenever we go to an event that the latest couple of years have been the biggest driver in storage generation. And if you look at some of the numbers, it's really scary. For example, I'll just tell you, if you can see, Boeing generates 630 terabytes per flight. So you can imagine the amount of data that is being created by a single company, and this is happening all over the world. All this is creating a huge demand on storage. And with bigger storage, you need higher performance. Earlier, the trend was that we used to purchase our top SAN storage that is monolithic. We put it, it's a separate box by itself. We have its own connectivity using fiber channel because this is how it should be. And always fiber channel was the best means of connectivity because it was superior to Ethernet. But now we're seeing a downtrend for this approach because we'll go into more details on why this. And we're seeing hyper-converged picking up in place. And why this is happening? Initially, we required 24 SATA disks to saturate a 10 gig link. SATA SSDs came into play, and 2 disks were able to saturate 2 gigabytes. Then SAS SSD required 1, and NVMe surpassed the 10 gig and requires an average of 20 gigabit. All this is putting a tough job for the networking in order to cater for this bandwidth. So we need definitely a better technology in order to cater for this. And this is where the Ethernet storage fabric comes into play. So we have 2 models. The Ethernet storage fabric is a technology where you're using Ethernet technology, but with specialized, it's dedicated switches that are enhanced for storage. It enables highest throughput of storage. It doesn't drop any packets, and it's able to cater for this ever more demanding. So how we initially used to connect, as we mentioned earlier. So we had our data center backbones, we had the service connected to these data center switches, and we used fiber channel in order to connect to SAN switches, which is by turn it's connected to the SAN storage. Now, with Ethernet storage fabric, we replaced this, and we just moved the storage, and we connected to the data center switches. What are the advantages for this approach? We are having lower latency with this approach because it is enhanced for this, and we'll go into more details why this is providing lower latency. Lower power consumption because we are eliminating the additional components in the data center. With Mellanox, we're having the chipset which eliminates any packet drop. All speeds are supported up to 400 gig of speed. Today, we have switches available for 400 gig. And just to highlight for you, 400 gig is not expensive as it is with other vendors. This is available at a typical normal switch that you would buy. Highest density. Nvidia has enabled to have 24 port switches that consumes 1 U, half a rack. So you're able to allocate 2 switches in the same U with 48 ports for top of rack. Highest performance and flexible port type. So even if you have a 100 gig switch, you're able to use any SFP, even if it's 1 gig. Cost and save on investment, of course, we are eliminating lots of the additional components, and we don't have any additional licensing. So you don't have any additional ports that you need to activate or additional software to activate. Everything is there from the beginning. And of course, easy management and Mellanox support. So, as we mentioned before that we were speaking about the trend, always in the previous years, fiber channel was always ahead of Ethernet. When Ethernet had a speed of 100 meg, fiber channel was only 1 gig. And again into 8 and 16, 32, and today is 64. So the highest speed of fiber channel today is 64 gig. While with Ethernet now we reached a speed of 400 gig and 800 gig is on the way. So the story has changed. We're having a major shift where only Ethernet is able to cater for these massive throughputs and workloads. So as I mentioned before, whoever comes from the high performance computing space knew Mellanox, and now Mellanox is owned by Nvidia. Any high performance computing in the world is provided by Mellanox. So Mellanox was and still is focused on the highest speed and performance. And this is where Nvidia is building on top of this, and it's expanding this into the Ethernet space. As I mentioned earlier, so whether it's from power support efficiency, the switch can consume 57 watts, which is similar to a bulb, and it consumes half a 1 U rack space, while it provides 25 gig ports, and you can of course choose all the way to up to 100 gigs. So But again, in order to have 100 gig, you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for a switch. It's a very cost-effective switch. Let's speak about the OmniVerse. And I believe Ashley was speaking about this before. He had a very interesting discussion. We'll be expanding a bit on this because it's a really interesting discussion. So, with Nvidia, we're having major focus in different areas. Whether it is from IoT devices, so when we have whatever devices we are having, whether it's our smartwatches, the end user devices, it's artificial intelligence, building 3D models, and we'll see some interesting 3D models now, which we can manage with augmented reality as well as virtual reality, and even robotics. And all this is going to be shared and managed in a collaborative way in the OmniVerse. Different verticals that we're seeing, whether it is in architecture. So before we start building our model physically, we're able to build it in the virtual world. We can design it in the virtual world, make sure it's optimal, and based on this, we build the real model. Media and entertainment and game development, you're able to build games and you're able to interact with these games in virtual reality. Product design, so you build your product and you apply physics to the product so you can see how your product will be behaving in the real world. And of course, autonomous vehicle, which is getting more and more in popularity by the day, and industrial automation, which is a big focus even here. And of course, genomics and scientific computing, whether it is from AI predictions and the weather predictions. One of the major challenges that we're having when it comes to graphic design and building 3D models is having an enormous amount of tools. Each tool is meant for a certain purpose where you have to use most of these tools, and each of them have its own format. There is no compatibility between these tools. And building and using them in 3D would require an enormous amount of computation. We'll go through a video to show you how OmniVerse can help in this manner.
As an animator, designer, or engineer, you can bring the power of collaboration between applications and people to your workflow with Nvidia OmniVerse. Before OmniVerse, working on a project using multiple applications required exporting and importing from one format to another, often causing creators to lose information and compatibility along the way. And adding more people into a workflow was a nightmare of updates and file merges. The OmniVerse platform enables true real-time collaboration for individuals and teams working between multiple apps and working across geographies. OmniVerse brings the ability to seamlessly sync file changes between the creative tools you know and love, maintaining their integrity throughout the pipeline. Whether working alone or together, OmniVerse creates an infinite number of connections, from app to app, person to person, or office to office. Get OmniVerse now and experience the future of collaboration for yourself.
So with this video, you'll be able to see the amount of reality you can expect in the OmniVerse and what you can be achieving with this. So the different components to make the OmniVerse is the nucleus, which is where you would store and enables you to collaborate between the different users. Connect is your add-ons to your current applications such as Autodesk, Maya, and this enables the connectivity with the OmniVerse. Kit, which enables you to build custom-made applications where no current application is available to provide this capability. And simulation is where you apply physics to your material to see how they will behave in the real world. And of course, the RTX renderer, which is Nvidia's technology, to enable you to have real-time rendering rather than taking lots of time for the rendering. We mentioned earlier that different applications have different formats, and this is a very big issue. And this is where Nvidia is tackling this matter by using the USD, which is the universal scene description. And this is an innovation that was made available by Pixar, and it was open source. So what happens is when you work on your favorite tool and save it, the moment you sync into the OmniVerse, this file is transferred into a USD format. It's placed in the OmniVerse, and it doesn't conflict with any of the tools. It will be provided as an additional layer. This enables you to interact with the object without affecting yours, and you can collaborate in real time. MDL, which is Material Definition Language, is Nvidia's response for building materials. So if you want to see how your material would react in real life, you would build this material in OmniVerse, and you are able to simulate how it would react. And now we'll see a video on how MDL goes into play. So it's easy as drag and drop in order to build a new material. Now, with this video, we'll highlight how architecture is going into play in a complete collaborative way. It shows you how realistically you can simulate your designs and you're able to build them while working in full collaboration.
Architects and designers need to be able to quickly iterate through multiple design options in order to meet the needs of their clients. But communicating and collaborating on design options can be difficult and time-consuming. Nvidia OmniVerse provides powerful and easy-to-use tools for architects and designers to creatively visualize their projects and then collaborate on these projects with the client. OmniVerse features live-link connectors to top design applications such as Revit and Rhino, providing architects and designers the ability to work seamlessly across multiple design applications in real time. In this example, a Revit model and a Rhino model coexist in the same 3D scene, and the designer can see the combined datasets in a shared virtual scene. The designer can make changes to the project data in either Revit or Rhino and view the photorealistic results live in OmniVerse View. Photorealistic rendering in OmniVerse is made possible by incredibly quick RTX ray trace rendering, allowing designers and architects to modify physically based materials, geometry, and lighting conditions in real time and view the ray traced results for rapid visualization and ideation. Once results are ready to share, OmniVerse Path Trace Renderer produces stunning, high-fidelity visuals for the most amazing finished look. OmniVerse also scales effortlessly to multiple GPUs, ensuring designers and architects have the flexibility and power they need, enhancing quality and speed while eliminating the trade-off between productivity and creativity. With OmniVerse, design.
So we discussed about physics. So with physics, you are able to provide a full simulation of your product. So you're able to build your robotics and simulate how they would interact in real life. And for offline, you can import your own simulations and you can see how they will act. And with Nvidia modules, you are able to use machine learning in order to know how your material will deal without even putting any physics. But of course, modules is where you require lots of development and play. We'll just see a video to illustrate how physics is in action and what you're able to achieve with it as well. So we discussed earlier, Ashley was discussing about digital twin. And we hear a lot about the digital twin. And what is the digital twin? So what you're able to do, it's either you have your physical model and you build a digital twin, or you build your model, and based on this you can build your twin. And it's very important that it's always an iterative approach. It's a full cycle. It's not a one-time. So you will build your model, you will connect it to your real world, and you always improve on this. This video is of BMW, where they built a 2.7 kilometer factory in the virtual world, and based on this, they improved each and every aspect before they built the real one. And based on this, they built it. So let's see the video in seconds.
We are inside the digital twin of BMW's assembly system, powered by OmniVerse. For the first time, we are able to have our entire factory in simulation. Global teams can collaborate using different software packages like Revit, CATIA, or point clouds to design and plan the factory in real-time 3D. The capability to operate in a perfect simulation revolutionizes BMW's planning processes.
Are those gaskets on your screen?
Yeah. BMW regularly reconfigures its factories to accommodate new vehicle launches. Here we see two planning experts located in different parts of the world, testing a new line design in OmniVerse. One of them wormholes into an assembly simulation with the motion capture suit, records task movements, while the other expert adjusts the line design in real time. They work together to optimize the line as well as worker ergonomics and safety.
Can you tell how I can in there? I'll get you a towel a little bit there, see that.
We would like to be able to do this at scale in simulation.
My final video is for Ericsson, where they built a full model of a full city in order to test 5G connectivity across the complete city. Can you imagine this can happen in Qatar, and I believe it will, where maybe Tasmo will build this and it will enable it for other consumers such as Kahama or other ministries to innovate based on this.
There are 15 million 5G microcells and towers planned for global deployment in the next 5 years. Ericsson is using Nvidia OmniVerse to build digital twin environments to help determine how to place and configure each of their sites for the best coverage and network performance. In OmniVerse, Ericsson builds city-scale models that are physically accurate down to the materials of the buildings, vegetation, and foliage. Then, wireless network components are added, including the precise location, height, and antenna pattern of each transmitter. Ericsson built a custom OmniVerse extension, enabling them to integrate radio propagation data and leverage OmniVerse's RTX accelerated ray tracing to quickly visualize and calculate the quality of the signal at every point in the city. Because OmniVerse materials are physically accurate, the intensity of reflections are precisely determined. Antenna beamforming and signal paths can be accurately simulated and visualized. In the simulations, the lobes signify transmitter antenna beamforming and the straight lines for signal paths. The colors of the signal paths denote strength in decibels and data throughput. From blue is the weakest to red is the strongest. Visualization is a critical capability for Ericsson. With OmniVerse VR, network engineers can virtually explore any part of the model, teleporting to any location, anywhere in the world, at 1-to-1 scale. As they tune the network for optimal performance or identify path disruptions, they can literally see the effects of their adjustments in real time, things which aren't visible in real life. In OmniVerse, Ericsson can perform true-to-reality remote simulation of entire 5G networks, enabling them to design more efficient and reliable networks, conduct remote field trials, and speed up deployments.
And with this, I thank you so much for watching. And next we have the show. Thank you.